Hey DaVinci, find me.
Hi, I'm Gary from DaVinci Forensics and Cybersecurity. This is a South African version, and I find people that want to be found. This is episode 3 for the DaVinci FindMe episodes. And remember, when making a video, to try and ensure it is in a public area and not in a place where you do not want to be found. Guys, if you make a video like this, remember to tag us in the comments or on that video itself. So this video seemed to be the correct way around, and there was no need to flip it. Believe me, this was not an easy one. And so far the longest it's taken me, but I'm up for the challenge. As I look at this video, I have to gather the information and draw a map in my mind or on paper to get an idea of the structure. I also notice a car in the background, seemed to be slowly driving it, also heard a busy freeway or highway sound. This was my first observation. Next I noticed power lines or lights and a bin and some fencing. And at this stage I assumed that the area is enclosed and the person is standing with her back to the road, more or less. As she moves the camera, I see more notable landmarks. Vehicles, trees and reddish or face brick buildings with concrete columns with a few vehicles in the background. The obvious was to check the number plates and decals on the vehicle, but the number plate pointed me to the Eastern Cape, which going on the vegetation and the tree life didn't really match. The stick on the side of the game drive bucky came up blank. However, when searching game drives and game reserves, it became obvious that this vehicle was from the Kruger National Park, which in itself is a very large area to search in. I had to narrow this area down to a smaller area, but we'll come back to that. Further, as the video plays, there are more trees, nothing in the skyline to use, and only could map an idea of the area. There is a white Land Cruiser behind her, and I looked for any reflections or any obvious images that I could reverse search and use that. Nothing came on this except something which I overlooked, which will be shown in the video later. Then there was a green signboard, and this is when I had my second confirmation that it was actually in fact in the Kruger National Park. And next to that there was a type of shed with large doors that looked to be selling items inside. Then there were vehicles and more game buckies, and then smaller signboards, traffic cones, trucks, and a type of security entrance to this area. Then an office with a wooden stick roof and reflection, and that is it. Okay, for me this was it. I didn't have anything clear enough, visible enough to use or reflections to get any idea of the surroundings, and it sounds like there's a busy road, there's power lines, fencing, boulders, vehicles, and Kruger Park, some signs, more buildings and trees. And this is not much to work on. Time spent the first time on this was spent between 2 to 6 or 9 hours. I then decided to leave it for a week or two and came back to it. In the meantime, I went back to the lady's TikTok account and video and commented, "We are having a look around, smiley face. This is a good one." And her reply was a down face expression, like a disappointment.
Just make sure that all the sadness stays in the circle.
Knowing who I am and my background, this just won't do. I must find her. And I'm not going to question my ability. I can do this. Just think like the system, because the system is what we have to use.
The Matrix is a system.
Now it was time to use the information gathered combined with OSINT tools. However, going on what I already had, I could comfortably make out the area more or less, which was a freeway of the N4 along the Malalan area. And the noise is what gave it away. But the freeway was very long and I couldn't imagine searching the entire freeway. So I used the power lines as my guidelines from substations outside of Malalan and worked my way west at first, and then eastwards towards Komati Point, going from substation to substation, following the lines that stayed on that freeway. It was at this stage I came across Koersboom Eskom substation, and as before explored west first and then east, and in between using Google Maps and street views, mainly looking at each entrance and power line crossover lines and more. After a few kilometers, my eye caught something familiar, and I had gone past this a few times already, but didn't see it, as I was searching the freeway using Google Earth before I used street views. And guys, I was certain this was it. As I'm going along the street view with Google Maps, I end up going west and I'm searching along the power lines, and as I get to these power lines, I look over each crossover power lines to get a geolocation and look into each entrance along that freeway. And then, this is when I spotted it. Along the freeway towards Mtijani Game Reserve, and in front of me there was those orange cones, and then on the left of that there was a brick wall, orangey reddish looking, with columns, and then obviously the signboards. And then when looking at the geolocation and its landmarks, now I'm going to prove it. I can confirm that you are standing with your back to the road, close to the entrance of Mtijani Game Reserve. alongside the N4 just outside its offices behind this wall when looking at the fence, wooden stick wall, dustbin and small covered box with a roof. Oh, and hello Mjajani Game Reserve. Guys, go search this game reserve, it looks absolutely awesome. And just bear in mind guys, I'm not being paid for advertising or marketing or mentioning of any company's name, it's just a courtesy that I offer. So this was it. It's approximately 1.5 hours and 15 minutes from my previous location and about 90.8 kilometers away on the eastern side of Mpumalanga. Guys, if you like this video, give it the action it deserves. Total time spent on this video, the second time round, passed about another 13 hours. And remember, if you want a video like this, I need you on camera similar to this saying, "Hi DaVinci, come find me," or "Hi DaVinci, cyber find me," or with the signboard and the surroundings in the background. Please make sure you do not make a video in an area that you would like to remain private. And no entries if you're under the age of 18.
Just listen.